about yourself, man. You can make them proud, but if you're not proud of yourself, then what's the point?
I shouldn't wait for the right moment to start something. I will never have that, the perfect moment to start something, and just starting is the first step that we do.
Alright, hello everyone and welcome to this evening's Team Talk. My name is Aarthi and I'm joined by the lovely
Sahar, my name.
Ansh.
Joseph.
And today we are going to be talking about imposter syndrome. Big words, but it's quite an important topic, and I feel like especially a lot of young people today experience it but don't necessarily know they're experiencing it. So today we're just going to unpack that a little bit and find out how we've experienced that in our own lives in some aspects. So I reckon, do any of you have a definition of what imposter syndrome could be?
I think I can't give a Google definition, but imposter syndrome to me means doing something or participating in something and you don't feel like you belong there. You don't feel good enough to be in that place. You're like, why am I here? Why do I have the qualifications to be here? Like, everyone else is so much like better than me, more qualified than me. Like, and it sort of makes you feel like a bit inferior in that mindset. You're like,
I get that. I feel like it's that self-doubt that no matter how much you have accomplished before, you still feel like somehow you will be exposed as a fraud because you don't deserve to have those accomplishments because you are not capable or not successful enough to have those. And I think it's something that a lot of people do actually struggle with. And I just wanted to know, have any of you guys had an experience where you have doubted yourselves or your own capabilities before? And if so, what? Like, Joseph, I know you are a music writer, song artist, and Ansh, you're a TED Talk speaker. Like, everyone here is so capable and has done so much. And in your lives, do you ever feel like you've experienced that you don't feel good enough, or that somehow someone will expose you to be this fraud? And that, have you ever experienced anything like that before?
I think for me, it's probably every day, to be honest. As a black man, it's kind of like you live in a world that wasn't made for us. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like anywhere you go, you feel like an imposter. I mean, when I was at St. Pat's, I felt like an imposter all my 5 years. When I went into uni, felt like an imposter. When I walk into the uni halls with my friends, I'd feel like an imposter because I was the only black guy. I'd be the only one who stands out because there's no black people in the halls, Where else? I guess just everywhere, to be honest. Even when I came in here first day, I was like, maybe I shouldn't be here, you know what I mean? Like that TEDx thing, I was like, maybe I shouldn't be here, So I feel like it's kind of normal for us black people to have like huge imposter syndrome because we're put into a world that wasn't made for us.
Thank you for sharing. I think that's a very valid experience. And What about you, Ansh?
I feel like I've experienced it in sort of a different sort of aspect. I think especially in the last recent couple of years, I've really gotten into doing a lot more activities, a lot more like high caliber like leadership activities, and really putting myself out there. And in that experience where like I get selected for something cool, or as you've mentioned, like speaking at TEDx, especially speaking at TEDx, I feel like I did not belong there. I felt like it was a fluke that I got through the selection process as a speaker. I didn't feel qualified to talk about my own topic. Like, even though I had experienced it, I didn't feel like I was the best one to talk about it. And I kind of felt like really like a fraud was very much like on the top of my mind. I was like, why do I belong here? There's so many other people that I feel like should be on the stage and would do so much better than me. So I really had to just convince myself that I was not this sort of like random like lucky thing that had been like picked out of nowhere. And that was like a struggle that I really went through, and just really convincing myself, reiterating that to myself that you belong here. I think the you belong here part is something that we should really keep in our minds.
I think that's a really good answer, and definitely reminding ourselves that we are qualified and we are capable and we do deserve all the opportunities that come our way. And what about you, Sahar? Have you ever felt imposter syndrome?
I think like when I was younger, I had lots of those thoughts in my mind. And the thing is, if I compare before and now, it's just like every time I feel better, like following some type of like when I feel overwhelmed or whatever thought come to my mind, like I don't deserve this, I shouldn't be here or something like that. I ask myself why I'm feeling that, why I think that way, and I talk about it with someone that I trust or with any friends or my brothers or so that makes me feel better when I hear from other people what they're saying and how they advise me or whatever they say. I just feel I understand myself more when I talk about it. And yes, and I'd like to ask Joseph a question. How will you compare yourself like 3 years ago and now? Like,
I think, well, in terms of imposter syndrome, I think it's gotten better. I mean, like, I can go into places and I feel like I belong now. I mean, I don't think I'm forcing it. I think it's just come natural now because the world's changing and it's changing for me as well. So it's there's a lot of pros and cons with that. And a huge pro is that I feel like I belong in a lot of places now. I mean, I went back to work at St. Pat's this year after I finished 2 years ago. And I feel like I'm home. When I left, I was like an imposter, low-key. Like that's how I felt. But now I feel like I'm home. So it's, a lot has changed. A lot has changed. Thank you for asking.
Do you guys feel like a lot of imposter syndrome comes from childhood expectations, especially when you're taught that you need to constantly be achieving something? And I think that definitely has affected me as like at the place where I am now, because I feel like I'm only useful if I'm constantly achieving something or, having these roles or titles or whatever, and just holding myself to a really high standard and just not being able to do anything unless it's like absolutely perfect. And I feel like if I'm doing something and it's not immediately perfect, then I shouldn't be doing it. And I feel like an imposter and I'm worried that I'm not qualified enough for this. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? About childhood upbringings with imposter syndrome?
Yeah, I reckon 100% that was sort of drilled into me in my childhood. Like, you have to be achieving something. You have to be aiming for higher. And I feel like that's sort of a reasonable thing that your parents teach you, like, especially coming from, like, an immigrant background. In those countries, you really need to strive for greatness just to, like, even... get by, or like the competition is so harsh. And that was really like imposed on me in my upbringing. And I feel like I sort of lost that competition bit in New Zealand, because even though we are a competitive nation, it's nowhere near the level of the countries overseas. And I feel like I really just started competing with myself. Like, definitely. I was like, do one thing, and then as soon as you're done with that, like, what is the other thing? Like, I just feel lost. Like, I need to top my last thing that I did. Yeah, definitely. Especially this year. I feel like last year I did so much, and I feel like this year I'm really like, I need to stop thinking about this, but I feel like I'm letting myself down. Yeah. I'm not achieving anywhere near as much as I did last year. So that's really a internal conflict in my mind. What about you, Joseph?
Damn, that was deep. Let me get back to you guys. Anyone else?
I was just talking of achievement. I want to share that's as I have been like unsettled, going through unsettled life and waiting to my life to be settled and good to achieve things and start doing like more things in my life, and then things keep coming and interrupt, and lots of life changing in my journey happened, so. Now I understand that I shouldn't wait for the right moment to start something, but I will never like have that the perfect moment to start something, and just starting is the first step that we do, and that's how when you start something and then that it has end and it will be achieved or whatever. If you didn't completely achieve it, at least you have the experience, So yeah, and that's how I learn from things, even if not I'm fully achieving things. And I took things not very hard on myself. So yeah, I go with the flow and I just try whatever the life open opportunity for me. So yeah, how about you?
I feel like I've always been scared of being a beginner at something or being the new person, because I feel like walking into a new place where everyone is so experienced and like knows so much about it, it's kind of scary and nerve-wracking. And I'm like, it's uncomfortable, so I try to avoid it. But I feel like putting myself in situations where I'm completely incompetent at the thing I'm doing, but I'm just having fun and I'm learning in the process, I think that has been so valuable for my personal growth as well. But yeah.
I think what you said about you, Sahar, about going with the flow, I feel like that sometimes comes difficult to us growing up.
Yeah.
I personally sometimes feel like it never ends. Like the amount of things we're doing, the amount of challenges we face, like you struggle through it, and then immediately after you're done, there's another one, and then there's another one, and there's another one. And I just wanted to ask you guys, like, as you've gone through your lives, have you ever like felt that sort of repetitive cycle of it just never ending?
Like you're just constantly trying to achieve more?
Yeah, and it just like the struggle never stops.
I feel like that's definitely a big thing, and I also feel like it's very dangerous because it can also lead to like burnout and can lead to that very quickly, especially if you're constantly trying to achieve more. And I feel like people are so scared of taking a break because they're worried that they're going to fall behind and people are going to catch up. But the thing to remember is that life is not a race and you have to go at your own pace. And there's no one that you're trying to compete with, because everyone's timelines are their own and they will achieve things in their own times. And when they're meant to do that. So yeah, that's what I feel.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because like once you start, you don't want to stop because you might fall behind.
True.
You don't want that. You
that.
really don't.
Yeah.
But happens to the best of us, eh?
Yeah, that's a nice question. I think like life always will surprise you with things, and when you just want to keep achieving and like keep doing things, sometimes you get overwhelmed and then you forget about yourself, and even you forget how to learn effectively and just get absorb the good amount of learning from what you're doing. So that's what we like. No, you're just getting a small amount of what you're doing. So yeah, just like remember to relax and like take care of yourself and give yourself time.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
That's so true. I feel like, yeah, do you want to go?
No, I was like thinking back to the sort of image that I have in my mind that I sort of think of as like the rat race. I feel like sometimes I'm stuck in that cycle of just this never ending like repetition of wake up, work, come back, sleep.
Yeah.
And I always have to try to dissociate myself from that cycle. Like there's more to life than just the constant grind. Yeah, and I
think that's important. Yeah.
I mean, for me, can't relate with that. It's constant grind for me, man. Because sometimes you just like, and you just think about your family. You think about like trying to make it out. That slang, that trying to make it out slang, and it's like you just don't want to stop grinding. You know what I mean? Like you want to grind 24/7 until you can say, "I made it." That's for a lot of people. It's like that. For me, it's like that. No days off, man. 7 days. 7 days. Yeah.
Do you ever feel like? Do you ever like get that sort of worry about burnout? Like, do you ever feel no, not at all?
Never. Never. Because it's like it's all a mindset, right? It's like how you go about your life and how you think. I just appreciate myself for going all the way. I just don't think, oh, damn, what if I burn out? If I start thinking that, I'm gonna burn out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to think that, or else I'm gonna burn out. So it's never ever come to my mind. I mean, I work 6.5 days. So like, I go to uni, and I make content, and I make music. Like, nah. If you think it, it's over. Like, it's game over. So just never, ever think about burnout, or else you will burn out. Trust me. Yeah.
That's so fair. That's so
Yeah,
fair.
just be up, stay up.
Yeah. I just had a question in mind that's about, like, you know, when we work hard and want to achieve and make, some people want to make parents or family or the society proud of them, so that will keep them doing things more and more. But then at the end, you might see they're not really appreciating what you're doing. What do you think about this? Like, how do you feel like?
I feel like parents, family, your upbringing, society as a whole does put a lot of pressure on you to constantly be achieving things and constantly be like having different successes. But I also feel like it puts pressure, especially on young people that feel like they're only worth what they can achieve, which I think is a really negative way to look at it, because people are so much more than the roles that they carry, the titles and the hats that they wear. Like, I think that's something we don't talk about enough.
Yeah, and I think based on your question, like, I've always had that sort of drive to do it for my parents, do it for my family, and just in everything I achieve. And I've been having to like toss that up this year with like with uni. As I'm going into uni, do I want to leave my parents like in New Zealand, go to a different country, and then like bring in sort of money, bring in safety, and looking at this sort of like the cost of living, I think that's just, it's just an always thing in my mind. I'm like, how do I sustain them and myself?
Definitely.
So they're always like a massive part of the decision making that goes on in my mind, and I think that's a bit of pressure, but it also like family's family. You always have to be there. Yeah,
that's right.
I mean, like, you say you want to make society proud, your parents proud. What about yourself, man? You know what I mean? Like, you can make them proud, but if you're not proud of yourself, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, you got to put yourself first and say, like, I got to do this for me, right? I got to make myself proud. If I'm proud of myself, you know, my family, they'll be proud of me. You know? But it also depends on what you do, you know what I mean? Like, like,
I feel like that's a reason that a lot of people feel unaccomplished, is no matter how much stuff that they do, if it's not something that they value or a dream that they hold, if it's someone else's dream, then obviously they're not going to feel fulfilled at the end of it.
100%.
Yeah, I love what you said. Good.
And I think with that, like, I've personally struggled finding things that like bring me like purpose, that bring me joy. As like even hobbies, I'm like, what are my hobbies? How'd you go around like finding the things that you're passionate about, or did they just come to you?
I just tried different things, to be honest. I've been exploring for years. Like, I think it's weird, but one thing I really love is stress. Like, I love work. I love, like, I'm eager to win, you know what I mean? I think it's all the Kobe Bryant videos, but I'm just eager to win. Like, I just have the drive, you know, and I guess, like, I just want to make myself proud. Because at the end of the day, like, I believe that this world is a simulation, you know? Everything I'm doing here won't matter at the end. You know, it's just, at the end, it's just me and God. So that's how I think of things. So I'm like, I might as well just do my thing while I'm here, you know, make myself proud. They made my mom proud. So, like, but you got to balance it too, you know what I mean? Like, I'm making music, but uni's my number one priority because my mom, and because I love what I'm studying. And then I'm doing music because I love it. You know, my mom's not a fan. I'm like, okay, like, you're not a fan? Just stay grateful I'm still in uni, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I graduate, like, let me do my thing, you know what I mean? So, like, I mean, you can, like, balance it all. Like, you just gotta, like, be in the right headspace, you know? You gotta just gotta feel alive, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for all of you guys. If you could be living your dream life, what would change about it now? If you feel like you're already living your dream life, great, why is that? And if not, what would you change about your life right now?
Oh, okay. Dream life. Okay, question. Dream life as in like dream life at this age, or dream life overall?
Like dream life, like Barbie dream life, or like, or like
Heike Barbie dream life, but like overall.
Overall, I think the scale of my work would change. I think the work I'm doing I quite enjoy. I think being able to interact with more people, have more impact, that would definitely change, and maybe even my location. I think, yeah. No, I love Wellington. I love Wellington, but I just, I think just more opportunity. And I think I try to take the most of every opportunity that comes to me. But in my dream world, I'd have a lot more opportunity to grab onto. Yeah.
That's a good answer.
I think for me, so the dream road, my dream road, probably being with my family like all together, and working less. I know I said I love work, but it's because I need to work. You know what I mean? Like if I didn't need to, and I was in my dream world, I'd want to be with my family, out of Wellington, out of New Zealand. Sorry, yeah, just being with my family again, and just being happy, being fulfilled, and no fighting around me.
I would say that I will spend more time with my family. I agree with Joseph, and like experience things that I couldn't experience, and also want to. So you know, when you have the luxury life, you can focus on things more. So I'll be like focusing on more things and achieving more things. I guess. Yes. Yeah. That's. How about you?
I feel like I love my life right now and I'm so grateful for everything in it. But I think one thing I struggle with is like finding a purpose or finding a why. And I feel like sometimes I do a lot of things, but I don't really know why I'm doing it or who I'm doing it for or who I'm trying to impress. And I feel like sometimes I definitely struggle with that. It's just like I want to do everything and anything, but actually, like, what is the purpose of it? Like, what am I trying to accomplish here? I think if I had a really strong purpose in life, I feel like I would be living my dream life. And the things that I did and the people that I surrounded myself with would be a direct representation of that.
Lovely.
I think one way I found my purpose was just continuing to explore, man. You just gotta do things and you'll figure it out. Like my purpose, crazy purpose. My purpose, it's actually to save the world in any way I can. That's why I love working with young kids. No diddy. That's why I love working with like youth, because it's like, it's fulfilling, you know what I mean? And it like means something to me.
Yeah.
So when you experience things and you find something like, even if it's small and it means something to you, and you know like that it can impact people, then that's your purpose. I'm telling you. But that's something for you to find out on your own. So guys, what do you think about the political? No,
Political and economic state of the world.
Right now?
No.
Yeah. No, I feel like finding time for experiences as well is something we need to do.
Yeah.
Not for me personally, like out of school, but I feel like when you're in school, it's very much you're on the grind.
Focused on school.
But I feel like to everyone out there, go like make time to do things, make time to travel, make time to hang out with other friends, make time to find your passion. And you don't even like need to actively look for your passion. Just do things, do random things, sign up to things, volunteer, become leaders in something. Just
become
do.
a verified Spotify artist.
Yeah. No, if honestly, just do everything, and then in that you'll find your passion.
Amen.
Yeah.
Just live life to the fullest, to the
Oh, yeah.
max. And you never know, you might come across something that's quite spectacular. Yeah.
As a final we did steer a little bit of imposter syndrome, but what are some ways that we can feel less like imposters in our own lives and feel more confident in ourselves and our accomplishments? What is one thing that you personally are going to do?
I think just 3 words: you belong here. Just remind yourself that you were here for a reason. Whether you were chosen, whether you just like magically appeared here, just remind yourself you belong here. And yeah, I think that's just something that everyone should keep in mind.
Yeah, that's deep. I mean, for me, I think what I would say to people is love yourself. Love yourself. If you love yourself, it's over. It's game over for everybody. You know what I mean? You can do you in like full peace and harmony.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about nobody. So as long as you love yourself and you're grateful for what you have, then you won't have imposter syndrome.
Totally.
That's right. Yeah, I agree. Also, yeah, that's a nice saying of, love yourself, and never feel like you don't deserve things.
Yeah.
Because if you don't deserve them, you won't get them, right?
Yeah.
So and also always appreciate the steps that you take to achieve, to get to that, the level you are at. So yeah, that's what I would say.
And also the incredible leaders that you look up to face imposter syndrome on a daily. And it's not just us. And I feel like finding that comfort that the people around you as well also feel like they don't belong or feel like frauds in their own lives. It kind of gives you like, oh, okay, like I'm not crazy. But I had a really good team talk with you guys. I felt like that was quite deep and we unpacked a lot of good stuff. But thank you for joining me today on our team talk. And thank you guys. Follow us on social media and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.